A catastrophic pre-monsoon weather system characterized by high-velocity dust storms, torrential downpours, golf ball-sized hail, and relentless cloud-to-ground lightning strikes has swept through the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. The extreme meteorological event, which struck with sudden intensity late Wednesday evening, has left a trail of unprecedented destruction across 19 administrative districts. More than 50 individuals critically injured and undergoing emergency treatment in various district hospitals. Preliminary assessments indicate that the massive loss of life and property was primarily driven by the structural failure of rural housing, instantaneous lightning discharges, and heavy flying debris propelled by wind gusts exceeding 72 kilometers per hour. State authorities have declared a localized humanitarian and infrastructure emergency. The physical damage to the state's electrical transmission grid, transport networks, and agricultural sectors is estimated to run into millions of rupees. The human toll of the storm is distributed across the central and eastern belts of Uttar Pradesh, with rural and semi-urban communities bearing the brunt of the atmospheric onslaught. Prayagraj recorded the highest casualty rate with 21 confirmed deaths. The majority of these fatalities occurred in the rural outfields and peripheral brick-kiln units. Laborers working the late evening shifts were caught in the open when severe lightning cells discharged simultaneously, resulting in instant deaths. Collapsing perimeter walls also trapped families sleeping inside temporary brick structures. Bhadohi reported 18 fatalities. The destructive winds caused the instantaneous structural failure of older residential buildings and commercial masonry walls. Densely populated neighborhoods experienced a chain reaction collapse of shared boundary structures, trapping occupants under heavy stone and mortar debris. Mirzapur recorded 15 fatalities. Due to its geographical alignment along the Ganges River basin, the district experienced amplified wind velocities. This resulted in the mass uprooting of ancient banyan and neem trees, which crushed adjacent houses, shanty towns, and stationary commercial vehicles. The remaining 50 deaths were spread across districts including Fatehpur, Unnao, Badaun, Pratapgarh, Kanpur, and Varanasi. In these zones, the primary causes of death were identified as blunt force trauma from flying corrugated iron sheets, drowning in localized flash floods, and electrocution from severed live wires. According to the India Meteorological Department, IMD, the disaster was triggered by an intense convective supercell development. The convergence of dry, extreme heat radiating from the northwestern desert plains of Rajasthan, combined with a highly unstable, moisture-laden air mass moving rapidly from the Bay of Bengal. This thermal and moisture contrast created a severe localized low-pressure pocket over Uttar Pradesh. Within hours, vertical wind shears escalated, generating massive dust storms, Andi, that choked visibility down to near zero levels. This was immediately followed by severe downbursts, massive electrical thunderstorms, and highly destructive hailstorms that battered the landscape for several hours straight. The raw mechanical power of the storm was vividly captured in a viral video originating from Bamiyana village within the Bareilly district, which has since been widely circulated by major international and domestic news agencies. During the height of the storm, a local community marriage hall constructed with a heavy iron framework and covered by expansive corrugated tin roofing sheets began vibrating violently due to the upward lift generated by the wind. In a desperate split-second attempt to anchor the structure, a resident named Nanhe Khan ran forward and gripped the lower metal supports of the roof. Moments later, an exceptionally powerful wind gust, measured at approximately 72 kilometers per hour, ripped the entire roof structure clean off its concrete support pillars. The upward aerodynamic force launched the massive metal roof, along with Nanhe Khan still holding on, 50 feet into the air. The individual was propelled across a significant distance before being thrown loose and crashing into an open agricultural field. While miraculously surviving the high-altitude fall, he sustained multiple compound fractures to his upper and lower limbs and remains in critical but stable condition at a regional trauma center. The physical infrastructure of Uttar Pradesh has suffered extensive damage, crippling public utilities and isolating vulnerable populations. The state's power distribution infrastructure experienced a near-total blackout across 15 districts. Over 12,000 electricity poles were snapped in half or uprooted by the sheer force of the wind and falling trees. High-voltage transformers exploded across rural substations, isolating over 2.5 million households from the power grid. State electricity boards estimate that re-erecting the high-tension towers and repairing the destroyed substations will require days of continuous technical deployment. Major state and national highways were rendered impassable due to hundreds of fallen trees, collapsed commercial billboards, and overturned multi-axle freight trucks. The North Central Railway network faced severe disruptions as overhead equipment, OHE, lines carrying high-voltage traction power were torn down by flying debris. Dozens of passenger and freight trains were stranded at local stations, completely throwing off national transit schedules. In the riverine districts of Bhadohi and Mirzapur, critical temporary pontoon bridges spanning the Ganges River were violently torn apart by the churning waters and high winds. The destruction of these floating bridges has completely isolated dozens of river island villages, cutting off their access to essential emergency medical care and supplies. The long-term economic impact on the rural economy of Uttar Pradesh is projected to be severe, stripping smallholder farmers of their primary assets and livelihoods. Preliminary field surveys indicate that approximately 1,200 rural dwellings, mostly traditional kucha mud houses and thatch-roofed huts, were completely leveled or rendered entirely uninhabitable. Families have lost their food reserves, personal belongings, clothing, and vital identification documents under the weight of collapsed mud walls and waterlogged ruins. The storm claimed the lives of over 114 livestock animals, including essential dairy cows, water buffaloes, and goats. For the agrarian families of Uttar Pradesh, livestock represents a critical secondary income stream and insurance asset. This sudden loss poses an immediate financial threat to thousands of households. The timing of the storm has dealt a severe blow to the agricultural sector. Heavy, high-density hail completely flattened standing pre-monsoon crops and devastated expansive commercial fruit orchards. The physical force of the hail stripped mango and banana plantations bare, wiping out the entire season's output and inflicting millions of rupees in direct financial losses on the regional farming community. In response to the mounting crisis, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath convened an emergency cabinet meeting to mobilize the state's disaster management apparatus and streamline rescue operations. Units of the State Disaster Response Force, SDRF, alongside thousands of local police personnel and civil defense volunteers, have been deployed to the worst-affected sectors. Using heavy cranes, mechanical chainsaws, and gas cutters, these teams are working around the clock to clear debris from blocked transit lanes to allow emergency medical vehicles to pass. Search operations continue within interior villages to locate any remaining individuals trapped under collapsed mud structures. Local administrations must conduct immediate damage assessments and send detailed status updates to the State Command Center at strict 3-hour intervals. All formal ex gratia financial relief funds must be processed and distributed to the families of the deceased and injured within a mandatory 24-hour window from the time of verification. The next of kin of those deceased will receive a direct state compensation of 4 lakh rupees, INR. Standardized medical financial aid and structural reconstruction grants are also being released to support the injured and help families rebuild their destroyed homes. While extreme dust storms and convective activity are typical during the pre-monsoon transition period spanning March to June in northern India, meteorologists warn that rising regional temperatures are significantly increasing the frequency and intensity of these destructive events. The India Meteorological Department has maintained a yellow alert for several vulnerable districts across Uttar Pradesh. Residents are strongly advised to monitor local radio and digital updates. Avoid seeking shelter near high-tension electrical wires or old, fragile trees. Secure all loose outdoor property and remain indoors during active lightning and convective wind phases. Meanwhile, a terrifying viral video from Uttar Pradesh's Bareilly district has become the face of the massive storm disaster that has left at least 104 people dead across the state in the last 24 hours. But the same storm killed a 12-year-old girl and a 76-year-old woman under the same police circle. The girl was crushed under a falling tree, and the woman died after wooden blocks stacked on a roof collapsed on her. According to Singh, Nanhe suffered fractures in his leg and hand but is stable. He was admitted to hospital and later discharged, said Singh. Locals said that Nanhe remains in shock. The viral clip has emerged as one of the starkest visuals from the deadly weather system that battered Uttar Pradesh with lightning, heavy rain, hailstorm, and unusually powerful winds. According to the latest figures, the disaster has so far left 104 dead, 52 injured, 130 animals killed, and 98 houses damaged across the state. The worst hit district was Prayagraj, which reported 21 deaths, followed by Mirzapur, 19. Sant Ravidas Nagar Bhadohi, 14, Fatehpur, 11, and Bareilly, 2. Officials said most deaths and injuries were caused by falling trees, collapsing structures, flying objects, and wall or roof collapses triggered by the high-speed storm. Atul Kumar Singh, a senior scientist with the India Meteorological Department, IMD, told the Indian Express that storm activity is common during the season, but speed-wise, this event was unusually intense. He said the storm's intensity had crossed 100 kilometers per hour in certain areas. According to the IMD, the severe weather developed due to an interaction between a cyclonic circulation over the northwestern part of Uttar Pradesh in the lower atmosphere, easterly winds coming from southern Rajasthan, and westerly winds in the middle troposphere. In an official note, the IMD said isolated places witnessed storm winds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour, while several areas experienced gusts of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour, leading to large-scale destruction. The powerful winds uprooted trees, damaged houses, collapsed temporary structures, and snapped power lines in several districts, causing panic in rural and urban areas alike. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has directed all district administrations to immediately assess the losses and ensure compensation reaches affected families within 24 hours. The Relief Commissioner's office is monitoring the situation round the clock, while district authorities have been instructed to submit updates every 3 hours, as weather alerts are in place in parts of the state. Sources say that the figures of casualties and losses are likely to increase. More than 36 cattle died. Many trees were uprooted in various districts of Purvanchal, also due to strong storm and rain accompanied by thunder and lightning. 12 people died in Bhadohi, 10 in Mirzapur, 2 in Chandauli, and 1 in Sonbhadra due to falling of walls and pillars. In Varanasi, 3 people were injured when a balcony or wall collapsed. 12 people died in Kanpur and surrounding districts during the storm, rain, and hailstorm. 7 people lost their lives in Fatehpur when a building under construction collapsed, trees fell, and other accidents. 3 people, including a child, died in Unnao after a tree and an electric pole fell. A young woman and a girl lost their lives in Kanpur Dehat, while 33 goats also died. Train operations were disrupted for hours due to fallen trees on the Kanpur-Lucknow and Unnao-Raebareli railways. 9 people were killed by falling trees and walls in Bareilly, Badaun, and surrounding areas. Several children and others were injured. Traffic was disrupted by fallen trees on highways and main roads. 5 people also died in Sitapur, Lakhimpur, and Hardoi during the storm and rain. In Sitapur, 2 people were killed and 6 others injured when trees and walls collapsed. In Lakhimpur, lightning caused the accident, while in Hardoi, lightning and a wall collapse caused 2 deaths. Rain and strong winds brought significant relief from the scorching heat. But the Meteorological Department has issued a heat wave warning for more than 30 districts, including Lucknow, for the next 7 days. Maximum temperatures are expected to rise by up to 5 degrees Celsius during this period. Storms, thunderstorms, and rain, brought temperatures below normal in many districts, but the heat has begun to re-emerge in many areas, including Bundelkhand. On Wednesday, Banda was the hottest district in the state, recording a maximum temperature of 45.4 degrees Celsius. According to senior meteorologist Atul Kumar Singh, temperatures will rise in the state over the next week, accompanied by dry weather. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, taking cognizance of the loss of life, livestock, and economic damage caused by heavy rain, storms, and lightning in the state, expressed his deepest condolences to the bereaved families of the deceased. He directed officials to immediately provide all possible assistance to the affected families. All district magistrates have been instructed to go into the field to monitor relief operations, assess the damage, and distribute compensation within 24 hours. It has been clearly stated that any negligence in relief work will not be tolerated.